it is looking more and more like it will be an IP no in Shein's quest to go public. The fast fashion behemoth has won over the American market, certainly. It is grossing billions in sales every year, but the National Retail Federation, not so impressed. It has reportedly denied the Chinese brand membership multiple times now. Being part of the NRF would further help legitimize Shein in the U.S. It would pave the way for a big debut on Wall Street. But the same concerns and controversy surrounding the brand's business practices still remain. Skirting American tariffs, stealing designs, causing massive pollution, and accusations of using forced labor. And an updated report from human rights watchdog Public Eye found conditions for factory workers haven't improved. Wages are stagnant, many working more than 75 hours a week, in some cases only taking 1 day off a month. Julie Zerbo is an attorney and founder of the Fashion Law. She joins us live. Julie, thanks for being here on this. Any indication on why the NRF is likely denying Shein?
I think a lot of the concerns that you just mentioned, I suspect they're concerned about human rights issues, forced labor, the de minimis tax loophole that Shein and similarly situated companies are taking advantage of to skirt import taxes and oversight. And then there is also the issue of rampant intellectual property infringement that's harming U.S. businesses.
And Shein just seems to have struck on this recipe for success. There is a report that says they have overtaken Nike and Adidas as the most Googled clothing brands. Zara and Macy's, they are now outpacing them in online sales. What is the cost? How bad are things inside of these factories?
You know, it is a reflection, I think, of a broader issue for retailers across the board as their supply chains have become increasingly complex, increasingly multinational, and increasingly reliant on third-party suppliers. It's really difficult for even well-meaning companies to say with certainty whether or not their suppliers are abiding by labor laws in any of these countries. And it's really hard for them to make improvements.
You know, the report just published by Public Eye was a follow-up investigation. They say really nothing has seemed to change inside of these factories, despite Shein's pledge to improve conditions. If Shein really wants this, they want in on the New York Stock Exchange, why not just pay their workers a little more? Why not just improve those living conditions and also just not so blatantly steal other people's intellectual property as often as they do?
I think the supplier issue is probably twofold. Shein has responded to allegations about working conditions and said in its own factories it has made improvements. Audits have shown improvements, but it's these third parties that it really doesn't have control over, where it's seeing real issues, and it's hard for Shein to make changes to those third-party suppliers. It can, however, cut ties with them if it is really serious about distancing itself from human rights abuses.
And we know that Shein does want in on the New York Stock Exchange. Do you think that there is a path to that as of right now, or are they likely to just go public on a different stock exchange?
Well, they're certainly setting themselves up for options, including in London. I think that if we have any other examples to go by, Alibaba, a Chinese marketplace giant, went public in the U.S. in 2014, even after facing issues. I think Shein, it might be possible, but they certainly have a lot of work to do in light of the really rampant skepticism amongst U.S. lawmakers ahead of this potential IPO.
Really appreciate the time and perspective. Julie Zerbo, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.